During this national team gathering, what fans are most looking forward to is the friendly match between England and Brazil. Even though it's just a friendly, why is it so awaited? Simply put, both are leading football forces, whether before or now. Furthermore, both England and Brazil are countries with a special connection to football. One side is the homeland of the king sport, the other side is the representative who has been at the top of the world 5 times. That's why it's worth waiting for and hoping for. According to statistics from Transfermarkt, the value of the Three Lions squad is much superior to that of Brazil. The total value of Brazil's squad is €927 million, then England's is €1.4 billion. Just his difference alone makes the England team considered to have quality personnel and is superior to their opponents. But specifically in each position, when both sides have their most satisfactory players, in what ways will England be stronger than Brazil? In the national team roster this March, both sides have very unfortunate absences. In the friendly match alone, key names had to withdraw at the last minute. As for the Brazilian team, they will not have the services of Martinelli, Casemiro, Alisson, Ederson, and Marquinhos. The most important absence is Neymar. As for the England team, they also had significant personnel losses in this gathering. Coach Southgate will be without players like Trent, Jack Grealish, Trippier, Luke Shaw, and Reece James due to various injuries. Not only that, both strikers, Harry Kane and Ollie Watkins, also suffered minor injuries. The players mentioned above are extremely important names for both sides. Of course, we will compare the squad when they have the most satisfactory players, which means that all of the above players will be present. But it also needs to be added that even though many players of England are absent, they still have a very strong team. That shows a very respectable squad depth. As for Brazil, they do not have the same advantage as their opponents. Now let's look at when both have the strongest lineup. First, let's talk about the goalkeeper position. Perhaps this is the position where Brazil will have an advantage over England. They own 2 top names for this position at the same time. That is Ederson of Man City and Liverpool's Alisson Becker. These are both goalkeepers with good footwork and extremely accurate long passes across the line. It can be said that this is Brazil's deepest position. But if we look at the specific aspect of the goalkeeper position, we often see a national team play with a fixed goalkeeper for a long time, for example Neuer in the German team, then it seems this advantage is also insignificant, or the saddest thing is that one of the two is wasting his talent on the bench. But it's an advantage nonetheless. The England team has had no shortage of quality goalkeepers in recent years. Everton's Pickford has always been Coach Southgate's #1 choice. He had extremely excellent performances and helped the Merseyside team go through extremely difficult relegation seasons. This goalkeeper is an important blocking force that helps Everton avoid relegation. With his talent, Pickford could have played in a much more classy environment. The remaining reserve is also a very prominent name, Arsenal goalkeeper Ramsdale. Although this year has been a relatively forgettable season, his efforts are worthy of recognition, especially after his great performance with the Gunners last season. In general, in the goalkeeper position, Brazil has a slight advantage. In the remaining positions, Brazil is completely at a loss, simply because England is considered to have many quality players in all 3 lines. In defense, if you had to choose the 2 most satisfactory defenders for the Brazilian team, they would be Marquinhos and Thiago Silva. Besides, Eder Militao or Magalhães are also extremely quality names that can take on this position. Those are the best quality names for the central defender position. England has top defenders playing in the Premier League, in which the duo of Stone and Harry Maguire are often chosen for this position. The central defender on Man City's payroll has shown his intelligence and versatility by being able to take on the holding midfielder position excellently. It is no coincidence that Stone is one of the key players in Pep's squad. Harry Maguire is also currently having a resurgent season in the Red Devils squad. But no matter how poorly he played at Man United before, every time he joined the national team, the former Leicester defender still showed his certainty. In addition, England also has other names that can replace this position, such as Mark Guehi or Lewis Dunk. Considering the full-back position, England is also completely superior. In the right-back position, we have many quality names like Reece James, Kyle Walker, and Trippier. Those are all the top right-backs in Europe at the moment. Each person will have different strengths, This helps Southgate have diversity in team selection as well as tactical ideas. The left-back position seems to have fewer options, but Luke Shaw and Ben Chilwell are both excellent players playing in this position. For Brazil, there aren't really too many options for these positions. Their right wing could be Danilo, Emerson Royal, or Yan Couto, but Militao can also play in this position. On the left wing, it will probably be Ayrton Lucas or Alex Telles. In general, these are all acceptable names, if not difficult to compare with the stars of the England team. In the midfield, there is still a complete superiority of the three Lions. The names that can play in their midfield position are Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Phil Foden, James Maddison, Conor Gallagher, and possibly Kobbie Mainoo soon. This season, the press has spent so much word praising Bellingham that we can summarize the midfielder's first season at Real with the phrase, "beyond great." Phil Foden is also having a fiery performance at Man City. Pep Student is having his most successful season at the Etihad when he scored 18 goals and had 10 assists after 42 appearances in all competitions. Both Declan Rice, Trent, and Maddison are also playing great for their host club. For Kobbie Mainoo, his performances since playing for Man United's first team also show that the 2005-born midfielder will develop into a star in his position. As for Brazil, they also have quality names, but of course, they cannot compare to England. The most satisfactory names in Brazil's midfielder line include Casemiro, Fred, Lucas Paqueta, Andreas Pereira, Bruno, and Douglas Luiz. But if you compare with the quality of the names of the England team, of course Brazil cannot compare. Regarding positions on the offensive line, the Samba Dancers do not have the same quality as the England team. In the center forward position, the three Lions own names with top-scoring performances in Europe, such as Harry Kane, Ollie Watkins, Ivan Toney, and possibly Solanke soon. We probably don't need to mention much about Kane, who is leading the list of goal scorers in the Bundesliga. As for Watkins, the Aston Villa striker is having an extremely successful season with 22 goals and 10 assists in 41 matches in all competitions. Dominic Solanke is also having his most sublime season, scoring 15 goals in 28 Premier League matches. There were times when Solanke and Erling Haaland competed very closely for the top-scoring position in the EPL. Even though Ivan Toney just returned from an 8-month suspension, he is still showing his usual class. For the Brazilian team, the center-forward position will likely be the appearance of Richarlison, who has begun to rediscover the feeling of scoring goals in Tottenham's uniform. But that is not enough to compare with the factors currently playing prominently on England's side. In addition, Endrick is also a possible choice for this position. However, Real's young talent is still in the first days of his career playing for the national team, so he still needs a lot of time to prove himself. On the two wings, if they choose fixed players, Brazil may not be inferior to England. They own a couple from Real, Vinicius and Rodrigo. In addition, Martinelli or Rafinha are also perfect choices. But if compared in terms of depth, of course England is still superior in the wing striker position. They have Marcus Rashford, Jack Grealish, Bukayo Saka, Jarrod Bowen, Anthony Gordon, Cole Palmer, or Phil Foden. With his versatility, Foden can play in any attacking position. The only difference for Brazil may come from superstar Neymar, who is the soul and leader of Brazil's playing style. He can play as both a striker and a midfielder, but in general, the presence of the former Barca star will boost the player's playing spirit. Some people say that Brazil today, without Neymar, would look like an average team. Neymar's role for Brazil is very important, but a recent serious injury may affect the playing time of the striker born in 1992. England's squad is clearly much superior to Brazil's in terms of pricing, quality, and quantity. Perhaps that is why people expect the three Lions to soon win a tournament, especially this year's Euro. As for Brazil, their problem is not necessarily in personnel. Maybe they will need a good enough coach to build a new playing style that is more suitable for the current personnel situation.